Have you ever opened your bank app and watched your world crumble before your eyes? I found myself whispering into my journal late last night, tears blurring the page as I scrolled through the seemingly endless list of transfers. $2,000 here, $3,500 there, every payment labeled innocuously as personal expense or family support. But one name kept appearing in my mind, Anna Lane. Over the past year, I'd noticed the amounts creeping higher and the notes growing more intimate. Can't wait to spend forever. You're my tomorrow, my future wife. It was only when Mark fell asleep on the couch, his phone unlocked beside him, that I dared to click the message thread. There it was in plain text. My love, I sent another $1,500. I can't bear the thought of your rent going past due. And below, you're the only one for me, my future wife. Red heart. I closed the app and held my breath, the hum of the television echoing in the early morning. Hush! I thought I knew the man I married. How many times had he said, I'd do anything for you. You're my only one? Now, as I stared at his sleeping form, I realized I didn't even know who he was giving for. I traced the path back to 6 months ago when Mark first started volunteering to help out at our joint account, paying an extra shared credit card bill covering a large chunk of our emergency fund. We'd been saving for a kitchen remodel, and I hadn't thought twice when he redirected some funds for urgent business needs. But my unease grew when I noticed our balance inching down while his business ventures never seemed to materialize returns. 2 weeks ago, a text popped up on my phone from our bank. Your subscription to premium autopay has been activated for $4,000 monthly. I called customer service in a panic only to learn it was linked to our account, activated by Mark's login. We argued that night. I know what I'm doing, he snapped, closing his laptop with an angry slam. You worry too much. I worry because you're sending nearly everything we have to some faceless recipient I can't verify, I said, voice shaking. Tell me who this is. He'd looked away, running a hand through his hair. It's just someone I help, he'd muttered. I'm supporting her. Supporting her. Those 2 words echoed through my mind as I slipped into the guest room, careful not to wake Lily. I dug into a suitcase, the one he'd packed for a conference, and found a business card clipped to his shirt pocket. Anna Lane, independent artist. The phone number matched the one in his messages. Underneath was an email address, anna.lane.future@outlook.com. My stomach roiled. The idea that he'd built a secret financial relationship with another woman, calling her his future wife, while lying to me, that was a dagger. My reflection in the bedroom mirror startled me, pale, haunted, eyes wide with betrayal. I took a shaky breath and loaded her email in my browser. No website, just an Instagram handle and a PayPal.me link pinned at the top. I sent myself a screenshot and slammed the laptop shut before I could second-guess the invasion of privacy. My mind raced with questions. Who was Anna? What did future wife even mean? Was I disposable, an afterthought? My hands trembled as I dialed my best friend, Claire. Hey, you okay? She answered, bright and cheerful. I found something, I whispered. Then I told her everything, every unsettling detail, from the bank transfers to the messages to the loan business card. She was silent at first, then said, Oh, Sarah, this is serious. I know, I said, voice cracking. He calls her his future wife. He sends thousands. I don't know who she is or why he thinks she's going to replace me. Meet me tomorrow, Claire said gently. Bring everything. That night, sleep eluded me. I lay beside Mark on our bed, watching the rise and fall of his chest, every inch a reminder of the man I once trusted implicitly. I thought of our wedding, vows, through sickness and in health, for richer and for poorer. We both cried when I lost my job, and he'd held me close when my mother died. Yet a part of his heart and our money had been sent somewhere else for another woman. Morning came with a churning in my gut. Lily bounded into our room, chirping about pancakes and cartoons. I forced a smile, kissed her head, and told her breakfast was on. When Mark appeared, coffee in hand, his eyes bright, I felt a twinge of guilt. How could I accuse him before I had the whole picture? But the evidence loomed too large. At the cafe the next day, I laid everything before Claire, the screenshots of the transfers, the messages calling Anna his future wife, the abandoned business card. She sipped her latte, brows furrowed. This is huge, she said. We need to confirm who Anna is. Maybe Google that number, check her Instagram. Then you confront Mark with facts. I nodded, heart pounding. I'm terrified. What if he admits it? What if he says he loves her? Or, worse, lies again and denies it all? Claire reached across and squeezed my hand. You deserve the truth, she said firmly. And, whatever happens, you'll have me. Armed with screenshots and Claire's support, I set out to uncover Anna Lane. A quick Google search turned up 2 results, an art portfolio on a defunct site, and a sparse Instagram profile, 50 followers, 8 posts of abstract paintings signed, yell no personal photos, no location tags. Beneath one post, a comment. Thank you, Mark, for your generous commission. She posted a painting of a stormy sea, captioned, inspired by hope and new beginnings. Hope and new beginnings. A bitter irony. I bookmarked the page and reopened Mark's messages to Anna. Your new piece is stunning, my future wife. I could almost see him typing those words, the loving emoji, the careless betrayal. That night, I returned home early. Mark was on a call in the study. I peered through the glass, and his voice crackled, distant but clear. Thank you so much. I don't know what I'd do without you. And Mark, always for you, my love. My chest constricted. This was beyond financial support. It was emotional, intimate, declared in love's language. I stood there until his call ended, and he shut his laptop. He looked at me, warily, touched by surprise or guilt. Can we talk? He asked softly. I swallowed past the lump in my throat, steeling myself. Yes, I said. We're going to talk about Anna Lane. He nodded, flinching at the name. Okay. I stepped inside, closing the distance. The next words I spoke would shape our lives. When did you decide she was your future wife? And as the door clicked behind us, I realized this. Conversation would either tear us apart or force us to confront a truth we could never unsee. That evening, I waited in our living room, every heartbeat echoing in my ears. Mark hovered in the doorway, guilt lining his face like a shadow I couldn't yet banish. I clutched my phone, screenshots ready, and Jessie, the name I'd given my trembling courage, coursed through my veins. He closed the distance. You wanted to talk about Anna? He asked quietly. I nodded once, my throat too tight for more. I held up my phone. I want to hear it from you. I tapped the thread. My future wife. The phrase glowed on the screen like a neon sign of betrayal. Mark's lips quivered. He swallowed and led me to the couch, tucking his feet beneath him. Okay, he began, voice rough. I owe you the truth. I turned my phone so he could see. Tell me why you sent her money, thousands every month, why you called her your future wife, and why you lied to me when I asked. He rubbed a hand across his jaw, eyes darting to the floor. Anna and I met 8 months ago at that gala I attended with my office. You remember I told you it was a client event in April. I flinched. He'd lied about that too. We struck up a conversation. She's an art therapist, and she reminded me of my mom, kind, intuitive, caring. I started supporting her work. She ran a small practice at a community center in Baltimore. They were in danger of losing funding, and I knew how hard it is to keep nonprofit services afloat. I closed my eyes, fighting the lump in my throat. But why all those declarations of love? Why? Future wife. He drew in a breath. I was lonely. I felt disconnected, maybe even irrelevant, since Lily was born. My job had me traveling, and when I was home, I was grouchy or exhausted. I think I was looking for someone to make me feel needed. He rubbed his temples, and I was grateful in a way I hadn't felt in years. She thanked me, and I let it become something more than just charitable. My chest panged. So you fell in love with her? I whispered. He nodded, tears in his eyes. I did, but I never slept with her. It was emotional, long calls, letters, gifts. I told myself it was compassion, then admiration, then I crossed a line in my heart. I stared at him in disbelief. Emotional affair, I breathed. Not physical, but still an affair. He exhaled, voice thick. Yes, and the money was to keep her practice running. Rent, utilities, materials. She didn't ask me to send so much. I wanted to feel like a hero. I didn't realize how deep I'd sunk until I saw our bank balance slide. I swallowed hard. Then why hide it? My voice cracked. Why tell me I was overreacting or paranoid when I noticed the transfers? He pressed his lips together. Fear. Fear of losing you. Fear you'd hate me. Fear I'd admit I needed someone else to feel alive. He closed his eyes. I'm so sorry. I let those words hang between us, tasting the salt air of our shattered trust. Sorry isn't enough, I said quietly. I need action. I need proof you can choose me again. He nodded, grief rippling. I will. Whatever it takes. The next morning, Mark and I sat at the kitchen table with our coffee, the humid sunrise slanting in through gauzy curtains. I laid out the conditions I'd wrested from my anger and sadness. 1. Immediate cessation of all financial support to Anna Lane. 2. Full transparency, all accounts, passwords, correspondence. 3. Emotional boundaries, no private calls or emotional confessions to anyone but me. 4. Couples counseling, weekly sessions for 6 months. 5. Rebuilding rituals, nightly love audit check-ins, 5 minutes to share feelings, no interruptions. He read each line, nodding, pen in hand. He signed in ink with a solemn stroke. I agree to all of it, he said. I want to earn your trust back. I exhaled, relief and doubt tangling. Then prove it, I whispered. Week 1, the money stopped. Mark logged into our online banking and, in my presence, sent a final wire to Anna's new manager at the community center, funds earmarked in a public ledger under our joint nonprofit's name. Then he called her, the phone on speaker, and said, Anna, I have to step away. I believe in your work, but I need to focus on my family now. Her choked voice crackled with gratitude and sorrow. I felt a pang but nodded. I'd asked for this. Week 2, transparency. Mark set up a shared vault of documents. Each evening, he uploaded his emails, appointment logs, credit card statements. I pored over them, learning his true schedule, no more secret. Dinners, no more half nights at the office. I saw dinner receipts, school pickup photos, dad and daughter zoo tickets. Every secret under sunlight. Week 3, counseling. In Dr. Morales's warm office, we spoke into a circle of chairs. I told my side, the fear, the heartbreak, the shame of doubting myself. Mark shared his loneliness, his guilt, his determination to change. We practiced I feel statements until they felt natural. I feel hurt when I see unexpected charges. I feel hopeful when you show me your bank alerts. The sessions were raw but transformative. Week 4, love audits. Each night, at 9 p.m., we turned off our phones and sat at the dining table. I shared my moment of doubt, like spotting a crypto purchase I hadn't seen, and my moment of joy, like finding his love note in the butter dish. He reciprocated. At times we stumbled into tears. At times we laughed through relief. Each audit smoothed a rough edge of our scarred trust. Week 6, rebuilding ritual. We co-hosted our first family and friends evening in our backyard. No secrets, just wine, barbecue, and stories. I introduced Mark's colleagues to Lily. He introduced my book club to my novel. We spoke candidly about our journey, and friends applauded our honesty. Under twinkling lights, I felt our marriage shift from hidden chambers to open skies. Week 8, final check-in. One Sunday afternoon, we drove to the community center Anna had built with our funds. A bright mural greeted us. Hope lies here. Children painted under volunteers' watch, seniors crafted mosaic tiles, and Anna, no longer the future wife, but a leader of transformation, welcomed us with a hug. She introduced us. Meet the hearts that keep us going, she said, eyes warm. We walked the halls, tears in our eyes, seeing our shared legacy take shape. Outside, I turned to Mark. This is beautiful, I whispered. But more beautiful is our willingness to face the dark. He smiled, wiping his eyes. I'm so proud of us. 2 months into our pact, I realized our marriage had undergone a deep renovation. Fear and deception stripped away. Honesty and vulnerability laid bare, replaced with new foundations of shared purpose. Each condition I'd set had become a ritual cementing our trust. The money stop, the transparency vault, the counseling circle, the love audits, the community's embrace. That night, as we tucked Lily into bed and turned out the hall light, I felt Mark's hand find mine. In the dark, I whispered, I love you. He squeezed gently. I love you more. And for the first time in months, the future didn't feel uncertain. It felt like open space, polished, with the hard work of truth, ready for us to fill with laughter, family, and the promise that even the deepest betrayals can give way to the brightest new beginnings. That night, after Lily was tucked in, Mark and I stood at the edge of our now empty guest closet, the trapdoor gone and the hinges removed. In its place was a smooth panel of new drywall, painted the same warm cream as the rest of the house. The secret room that had tormented me. 4 weeks was literally and symbolically sealed from our life. We turned on the overhead light in what was once the guest closet. The new space was small, but bright, room enough for 2 plush chairs, a small table, and a stack of board games. I flipped a switch and our first reconnection nook was born. No more secrets, no more hidden gifts for other women. This was our corner for laughter, games, and honest conversation. Mark handed me a pair of teal cushions. I bought these for us, he said softly, to fill this with new memories. I pressed the cushions to my chest, feeling the soft fabric beneath my palms. "And these," I said, picking up a small chess set, "so we can challenge each other without any traps." He grinned. "Deal." Over the next few weeks, we introduced Nook Nights, our weekly ritual in the reconnection. Nook. Every Thursday evening at 8 p.m., we'd set aside phones, pour tea or pour a glass of wine, and choose a game or a topic. Childhood stories, future dreams, moments we were grateful for, moments we regretted. No interruptions, no screams, just us reclaiming our bond. On the third Nook night, we picked truth or dare, modified, of course, to respect our healing. I dared Mark to tell me one thing he'd never told me about his childhood. He chose a truth. I was afraid of being abandoned because my dad left when I was 10. His voice trembled. I pulled him close as he spoke, then shared my own. I'm afraid I'm not enough because I found your secret nest of gifts. We held each other in the low lamplight, feeling the walls between us dissolve. 1 month after the discovery, we hosted our first open house, not in the basement, but in our back garden. String lights draped overhead, neighbors gathered with wine and potluck dishes, and our reconnection nook sat as a quiet invitation. Anyone could ask us how we'd rebuilt trust. We shared our story briefly, no shame, no blame, just the arc from hidden room to heart-filled home. Cheers rose when we announced that the secret space had been converted into our family's sanctuary. Guests embraced us. Each had a stitch in our mended tapestry. 2 months later, on a crisp autumn Sunday, Mark surprised me with a scrapbook he'd begun in secret. Each page held photos of our reconnection Nook nights, the first chess match, the night I won our first Nook bake-off, the time we laughed so hard at charades we nearly toppled over. Interspersed were Polaroids of Lily tumbling in the leaves and candid shots of us holding hands. The final page read, "Our home is now built on truth. Here's to the next chapter." I turned to him, tears prickling. "This is perfect." He kissed my forehead. I promised to keep adding pages. Today, when Lily asks to play in our special place, we lead her down the narrow stairs that once were hidden. The steps now glow with motion sensor lights, guiding her safely to our game shelf. She picks her favorite puzzles, and we sit on the cushions, laughing as she stacks blocks or flips cards. The reconnection nook has become her secret too, a safe haven of family memories, not betrayal. As winter paints the world white, Mark and I snuggle in the nook with mugs of hot chocolate and a new tradition, Nook Reflections. Each year on the anniversary of that discovery, we read a passage from our journals, recount our growth, and add new vows to speak our truths, to honor each other's fears, and to celebrate our chosen intimacy. The walls endure no secrets, only the echoes of love reclaimed. I look at Mark now, across the cushions, his eyes warm and clear. "Do you ever regret the secret room?" I ask softly. He shakes his head. "No," he says firmly. "Without it, we'd never have found this, the real treasure beneath our home is us." He squeezes my hand, and I know that, together, we not only survived the shock, but built a home more honest, more vibrant, and more unbreakable than anything I could have imagined behind velvet drapes and satin ribbons. And as the snow falls outside, hush blanketing our neighborhood, I feel a quiet certainty. The true gifts are the ones we share openly, free of hiding, and those gifts will sustain us for the rest of our days.